What's go... Reconnection. What? We've had gremlins in already, just right at the very start. Can you Adam and Eve it, ladies and gentlemen? Can you Adam and Eve it? Just then, suddenly disconnected itself. Now we're back. I think we're back. I might as well start this again. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Good Friday edition of the Bald Explorer Live. Although what's good about it, I don't know, because poor old Julia, the lovely Julia, is ill, ladies and gentlemen. She's very ill. She's tragically ill. She's on her deathbed, ladies and gentlemen. She's just passing. You all right, Julia? One moment. Are you all right? Hang on a second. Just a moment. Sorry. Will you get up, girl? Get up. Get up, girl. You're supposed to be on the show. Sorry, she came round all ready to do the show. She came in and she took one look at me and went, "Oh no, have I got to do it with you?" And then collapsed, ladies and collapsed. I'm waffling her. It's no good. It's no good, ladies and gentlemen. It's no good. No, sadly, the lovely Julia has been taken ill with the terrible. She's got the squits. I don't want to paint the picture. Because that would be awful. I don't want you to imagine her a big flash of purple whizzing past to get up to the small room and do whatever you have to do, have the ablution. And apparently both ends, nightmare. I said, no, love, no, you're not coming to the studio, not with that. Because I popped round to pick her up and she went right in my face. It's a nightmare, all over me. It's catastrophe. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bald Explorer Show. If you've tuned in and you're thinking, hey, what the hell is this rubbish? I thought it was this bloke walking around doing lovely, peaceful walks. Well, apparently he's not doing that. No, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to say that the lovely Julia is ill. So we'll be saying a pagan prayer. A pagan prayer, ladies and gentlemen, so that she gets well very soon. I don't know what a pagan prayer is. But anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. That's Rodney over there with the flute. Yes, very good of you, Rodney. It's Rodders. Anyway, let's say hello to Harriet is there. So hello, Harriet. She says, nice jumper. Well, it is a nice jumper, actually. Somebody I know quite well purchased that was the lovely Harriet. We ought to have a big round of... I must get some, round of applause things on here, because that would be quite funny, so that we can go, hello, and big round of applause. Yes, thank you, Harriet. And I thought you were out this evening. I thought, with your social life, because Harriet's just flown in from Dubai, flown out to Marybelle, and she's flown back fleetingly. She's been whizzing around all over the place. It's very busy. I haven't had a chance to see her. My beloved. I haven't had a chance to see her. So, and people have been saying, where's Harriet? Where's Harriet? And all that kind of malarkey. And, of course, so it's lovely to see you, my darling. Oh, lovely to see you. So there we are. So hopefully that's completely embarrassed Harriet now. And she won't be sort of ringing me up saying, when are you coming up? When are you coming up? That's Lola, by the way. That's little Lola. We haven't seen Lola on the show. We're going to have to get her here and have little... what I need... Harriet, go and find... don't tell anybody. Can you get me a glove puppet of Lola? I want a little Lola down here so I can go... And now, ladies and gentlemen, we go over to Lola. Hello, Lola. Hello, Richard. How are you, Lola? I'm all right, Richard. What have you been doing today? I've been wagging my tail and barking at people. You've been wagging your tail and barking at people? What sort of people? Oh, postman, any old person, the coalman. The coalman? Yeah, the coalman comes around 3 times a week, didn't you know? No, I didn't know about that. Oh, yes, when you're not there, all sorts of people keep turning up. Oh, do they? Oh, yes, pretty long lady, all on her own. Are you sure you are really the Lola that I know and love? No, I'm just your hand. Oh, yes. Well, you've got to hand it to me. It's nice to meet you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyway, sorry about the complete and utter madness. See, we're slightly thrown because I have no material whatsoever for today's show because I thought the lovely Lola was... No, not the lovely Lola. The lovely Julia was going to be doing the show single-handedly and I was going to have a snooze out the back. But that's not the case. So, anyway, you're all very welcome. It's lovely to see you. Let's hope everybody's still there. Oh, Harriet says that Lola is still fast asleep. Well, that's because you keep wearing her out. Did you go for a run with Lydia, the lovely Lydia? Harriet has this very lovely friend called Lydia, who's very generous, and every now and again, Lydia, who owns this very palatial property in Wales, throws Harriet and I the key, and we go off for little holidays in this sort of Welsh resort, which is very nice. Well, I say holidays, I mean a few days. I don't want to give you the impression that I'm a jet-setting person, because I work very hard, ladies, very hard on getting the show out, and look, copious notes for tonight's show. Oh yes, it's all here. But anyway, and Lydia is a bit of she's a bit of a star actually, because she's a personal trainer, and she's trained David Beckham. Yes, she has, that footballer bloke, David Beckham. So she's trained him, which is very good. Sharon Penfold says, hello, and hello to you. Nikki Jess says, good day to you, Richard. You look happy. Thank you very much. I hope you're well, by the way, Nikki Jess, because I know you've been suffering as well, which isn't very good. Macintosh Pam, the flasher from East Ham, has arrived. Hello, Pam. Chocolate tin swabbed with Rolos. I don't know what you're talking about, Pam. I don't know what you're talking about, but you have eagle eyes. Eagle eyes. Mark Selwood says, you're rubbish doing ventriloquism. Yeah, thanks, Mark. And from now, I'm afraid Cornwall is going to be curtained off. I'm going to build a wall. I'm building a wall to keep all those Cornish people and all those people residing in Cornwall out with their you're not any good at ventriloquism stuff. I'll have you know. I'm going to build I'll build a mime wall. That'll do it. I'll have a big mime wall. You won't get past that. It'll be an electrocuted mime wall. So you watch out. Timothy Wareham says, I think you meant Beckham, not Beckenham. Oh, yes. Yes. The Harryarty is always telling me off for that. What's his name? Harry Beckenham. No, not Harry. What's his name? The first name? David. David. He's a footballer, isn't he? I'm not good at sport, you see. I don't know. There's that other bloke, the Johnny Walker, the whiskey man, but he's not a fisherman, cricketer. I don't know whether he's English or Australian. There was one. I know that there's one of them in the news with the rubber bands and the elastic paper, rubbing up the ball the wrong way. He's not going to rub my... Anyway, Steve Pilford says that David Beckenham, he's got a station called Beckenham Junction, and his son had New Beckenham. Oh, well, there we are. Beckenham's in London, isn't it? It is a London place. Make the Cornish pay for... I will. I'll make the Cornish pay for their... Well, make Mark Selwood pay. He's just gone and bought a DVD, ladies and gentlemen. Well, I'm going to make him buy the next one. Oh, yes, when the best of the 2018 comes out, I shall insist. I shall put him up against the wall and say, you and your ventriloquism act, I shall insist you have maybe I'll insist he has one on the house. Yes, he'll have to go and climb up to get it. He may need the help of Philip Naylor, who's a roofer. He can help him go and get it, which will be fun. Elaine Brazier says, we've popped something in the post for you, Richard. Oh, Elaine! Oh, I'm elated, Elaine. I'm not elated, Elaine. You're elated. No, I'm elated and you're Elaine. Oh, that's very nice. You popped it, Elaine, you popped it in the drain. Down the bottom of the funny lane. I will go swiftly to Spain. I better stop there because my lyrics are a bit rubbish. Mark Selwood says, don't worry, I've already built the wall. We're not letting the Vobes in. Oh, that's nice. Julia Hartley said, oh, just Julia, the lovely Julia, I beg your pardon. As long as... Oh, it's going so fast. People are commenting too quickly now. Can't keep up. Anyway, welcome to the show. And it's lovely to see you. Gravid Peckham. Yes, thank you, Alex. Gravid Peckham. Where is Gravid Peckham when you want him? I think he's a member of the band, if I remember rightly. There he is. It's Gravid Peckham and the Wobble Board. Yeah, you should see me on a dance floor. Harriet takes me all the time out dancing. She loves it. She loves to show me off. She dresses me up in some sparkly outfit. I have spandex trousers. I have those patent leather shoes that everybody likes. Of course, I've got the medallion round and all the hair. I've got a very hairy chest, as I'm sure you'll appreciate. Very big, hairy chest like that. And she loves all that, chains and one of those little hats, those sort of, mock flat cap things that people wear. And there am I, strutting my stuff, ladies and gentlemen, strutting it down like that. And Harriet's there sort of going, oh yes, that, I'm with him. Oh, I'm with him. At least, she says, you've been taking those dodgy tablets again. They're the tablets that you always give me, Harriet. You slip them into my drink. I think they're called a Mickey Finn. I'm not quite sure. She nipped over to Ireland recently and came back with a whole load of dodgy stuff. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. It's lovely to be here, and thank you very much for coming along. I'm so sorry that Julia's not here, but we will. But the good news is, she says to me, I will get well by Monday and appear on the show on Monday in a great puff of logic. So that would be lovely. In a puff of purple, she will just appear. So that will be good. And, of course, we've got to get Harriet back on the show, but I haven't been up to Harriet Land for a long time. My passport's run out, you see, and I'm waiting for Harriet to stamp the passport. But it hasn't got... Because and then little Lola is supposed to run down the M40 to send it to me. Here, Richard, here. And then I can get back into Harriet Land, you see. Sometimes, you know, she's very strict. Anyway, enough of this nonsense. So, in today's show, I've got a bit of archive footage. Because the lovely Julia couldn't make it, I suddenly was thinking, what the devil shall I do in the show? What am I going to do? Because I hadn't had time to, you know, knock something up. I nearly thought I'd do a cooking show, but I'd already eaten by the time we discovered that poor Julia wasn't coming. So, I thought, right, OK, there's only one thing to it. I will have to subject you guys to some terror, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go back into the archive. So now some of this is quite fascinating, maybe not for you, it's quite horrific actually for me, because you will actually see me in one of these things blown up a bit like a balloon. Not as bad as one video I made where I went to Exeter, and if you ever want to see what it's like, the effects of a man on steroids, when I was having my eye operations, I was heavy on steroids. Harriet will tell you how Michelin man I was. I was so puffed up, and that's about 10 years ago. Where are we now? 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Blimey, can you imagine it? Anyway, so, yeah, I was still trying to do the show, and I used to have the podcast, the old Vobes show, and we did lots of interesting bits and pieces. So I'm going to show you... let's get this all lined up now, because I'm going to show you one of these just to get this going so that you can appreciate now. Which video is this? No, not that one. Yeah, here we go. So I was doing the podcast, The Vobes Show, which was an audio podcast, and then occasionally we would do cam shows, a bit like this, funnily enough. And I would dress up and do a bit of the cam show stuff. And I thought I'd show you, this is probably about 2007, sometime like that, because I still have an eye, and it's in the beach hut, what was then the beach hut, ladies and gentlemen, and I've been taking steroids a little bit, and yeah, so I look a little bit not so good, ladies and gentlemen, not so good. So avert your eyes for the next 2 minutes. But here's a sort of typical little announcement thing that I would have made in the Vobes show in the old days. It's quite embarrassing. The footage isn't terribly clear because it was on old school webcam stuff, so it's a bit fuzzy, which is probably a benefit. But anyway, here we go. From a beach hut in Worthing in West Sussex down on the south coast comes Vobes, and this is a show about a show. Yes. Now, what have we been doing recently in the show? I can tell you we went up to Wicks and we got some lights. Now, the idea is I wanted to do this little update thing every day and do something so that you could keep updated with everything that's going on in the Vobes show. And so I figured, well, what I need is some lights in here because it gets very dark, you know, when you're recording video. Now, you know that I've got this gammy eye problem, and if you didn't, then I have got this gammy eye problem, had a cornea replaced, scraped out, taken out, and a new one bunged in, which was very painful, and it's recovering. And in that process, it means bright lights are a little bit, well, what can I say, dazzling for me. So I don't like bright lights at the moment, all right? So that's why everything in here normally is quite dark when I'm recording the Vobes show. Now, I thought it would be a great idea if maybe we had some strip lights, you know, some little strip lights. It would just be a bit calm and nice and, you know, give a nice sort of atmosphere. Well, I don't know if atmosphere is the right word, but it wouldn't be too bright, because I've got a strip light in the kitchen, and in the kitchen it seems to work fine. Well, we went up to, where did we go? To Wickes. Gets on your Wick. Went in there, bought some of these strip lights, shoved them in, and found that they were too dim. You'd have to have the strip lights like this, right against you. And I thought, well, they're not tanning lights. I don't need a tan, thank you very much. Maybe I do, who knows. So, in the end, it went back to the old halogen lights. You know, the sort of security lights that you have outside when somebody sort of is burgling your property. That's the kind of thing that I've now got laced up here in the studio. And actually, it's not too bad, but it does affect, on occasions, the gammy eye. Can you see here, gammy? So that's what I've been doing up to this week. The idea is to put a little posting, video posting like this every day, so that you can keep up to date with all the bits and pieces and stuff that you may have been missing from things like The Naked Englishman, which is my personal audio journal, which is inside the Vobes Vault at Vobes.com, or, of course, The Daily Show, the 30-minute daily madcap fun show, which you can also get at Vobes.com. But there you are. This is free, so enjoy. Now, I've got to work out how you turn this thing off, because I know there's a button here somewhere, and if I press it, I can go. Take care, look after yourself, and I'll be back again soon. There we are, see, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't it look strange? Doesn't he look strange? But the one thing is, it's almost like I've not done anything. I'm still sat in the studio. I'm still looking at a thing. That was 8 years ago, or whatever it was. The old poke at the microphone. Yeah, there we go. And in the background, you saw an earlier picture of me when I had two lovely eyes. Two lovely eyes. Oh dear. I can't see any difference, says Kevin Hall. That's very good. Phil Clark has just joined. Phil Clark will have remembered all of that, but he's just missed it. He's just missed the old the webcam stuff that we used to do, cam streams. But there we are. Dear, oh dear. If that hasn't scared you off, ladies and gentlemen, it certainly scared me off seeing myself back then. I've got some more stuff to play in. But before we play in all of that nonsense, let's go and have a quick gander, shall we? Yeah, shall we? Yeah, we shall. In the gallery. And in the gallery we see today we see that lovely man there, Mark Selwood. He posted a picture of himself holding up a dodgy thing that came in a brown envelope. I don't know where you got that from, some nefarious website, I'm sure. It's some awful bit of footage of some description. The best of the Bald Explorer DV, he says, my life is complete. Poor man, he doesn't get out much, but there we are. He says he's got mine. Have you got yours? And it's very kind of you, actually, Mark. I did enjoy that. That was very, very good of you. Let's go and see what else we've got. So this is Maggie Walters, and I'm not sure how you pronounce this place. Is it Orielton? The little village Orielton Church in a place in Hereford. She was there, actually, I think, for a funeral. But she quickly thought of the Vobes, and she rushed out and took some pictures of the church and posted them in the group. Thank you very much, Maggie. That's very kind. She said, I'm determined not to be sad about it. So that was good. And there, the wonderful Kevin Hall has been doing his arty-farty stuff. Yes, look at that. Sunbeams, streams of sunbeams through a tree. And now Julia is working out what trees are, so I don't have to. She ought to be able to tell you what that is. It looks to me like a great redwood. No, not a great redwood. That would be daft. It's an evergreen. It's a deciduous one, isn't it? I'll decide exactly which one it is later. Anyway, let's change the subject. And the lambs have been springing. These are obviously very special lambs, as you can see, because they're green. They're environmentally friendly. These ones have been marked up so they can't go to slaughter, which is very nice. Thanks to Cynthia Walder. She was being a nice little walk around Chiddingfold. I'm not quite sure where Chiddingfold is, actually, but it's a lovely name, Chiddingfold. And finally, I know that plenty of people have been posting, because they all start posting as soon as the show is about to start, and it doesn't give me a chance to get out there and actually grab the stills. This is Matthew Holdsworth, and he says he's been out. This is last spring, so don't think you're missing the bluebells. And this is at Eastman's Copse near Christ's Hospital. And you've got a lovely selection of pictures there. And just look at that carpet of bluebells. It's absolutely stunning. Amazing. So thank you so much. Keep the pictures posting. And if you do get a chance to do some video stuff, then that would be really cool, because it would be nice to see you going, hello, Richard, I'm here, I'm out walking with the bluebells. So that would be good. So yeah, do that do. No, don't do that do. If you do, pick it up, put it in a bag. Don't be one of those people who when you walk a dog, let a dog do its do, put it in a bag, and you think, well, I've done my environmentally friendly thing, and then hang it on a branch. Have you seen those? As if it's a fruit from a tree. Oh yes, that's shite fruit. Yeah, we don't want any of that shite fruit, thank you very much, in a bag, because the bag won't dissolve. It's terrible. So if that's you, if you do that, do not do that. Thank you. Do not do that, because it's not very nice. So there we go. Let's see what's going on in the chat room. Sorry I'm late and I've forgotten my note, says Frank Carver. Did you ever have a note? That's what I want to know. Oh, talking of notes, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see how this links in. Keep that thought in your mind. Notes. The notes will come up. Maggie Walters says, Frank, we're going to have to set some alarms for 8 p.m. Yeah, I don't understand how you could possibly... I mean, surely you're at the door, aren't you? Sort of at the door, scratching, going, oh, when is he on? When is he on? When is he on? The sooner he's on, the quicker he's off. Mark Selwood says, I may do Vobing morrow. Oh, morrow. I may do Vobing morrow. That's very nice. Yeah, what's that all about? Says Elaine Brazer. What's all about? The Vobe report. You must know what the Vobing. Instead of roving reporters, I now send out at no pay. Just imagine that you're on. What do they call it when you work? You left university and you go for a company and they don't pay you. What do they call that? Internship. It's like having an internship at the BBC. You don't get paid and you have to do all the work, and the executives sit there with this incredible $1 million pay, or even in pounds, shillings and pence. So what's that all about with the hanging of the... Yeah, sorry, I'm getting confused, because there's a delay, you see, ladies and gentlemen. I'm only seeing the start of the show. Yes, at the very moment, I can see myself in a green stripy suit, looking very dapper and very handsome. Very, very dapper, very handsome. I'm surprised that all the women haven't sort of broken the door down and got in. I do have that problem, of course. They're all trying to get in. They're going, oh, look at that handsome, that very chiselled chin man. We saw him 8 years ago, and in that black suit and tie. And when he was on the Vobe show, we saw him fat-faced. He was lovely then, but he's gorgeous now, they say. They do say that. Then I wake up, of course, and the reality is, of course, I'm completely on my own here, which is such a shame. And then Harriet says, I ain't coming down to see. If you want to see me, you come up to say, I'm not going to come down and see your miserable face. Oh, fair enough. Whereas Lola, of course, she'll lick my face to smithereens. One of these days I'm going to put a video up of Lola licking my face to smithereens. It's quite amusing. Anyway, now, it said note, didn't I? Note that I said note earlier, because I want you to remember that, because up now, in the old Vobe show days, ladies and gentlemen, I told you I had some archive the new. I've got some archive stuff to play in. So in the old days of the Vobe show, which was a podcast, an audio podcast, we occasionally did some special little video things. It was the pre-former of this, the pre-former of what the Bald Explorer is today. Yes, and we used to go out, and you'll notice now I think in this is pre-glasses days. So this is even more embarrassing, I think, if this is the one I think it is. I think this, yes, pre-glasses days, because before I lost my eye and had that problem, I wasn't wearing glasses. I was wearing contact lenses. And that's really how I got the problem. So I'll tell you all about the eye on another story if we really want the grisly truth to that. But, so, and also you'll note the old-fashioned equipment that we used to go out with to record just audio, ladies and gentlemen, just audio back in the day. So now, so to set this up, there was a time when I thought podcasting was going to be the big thing. I thought it was going to grow into something, and I put quite a significant amount of money. I borrowed off the mortgage, and I put a huge amount of money into this podcasting idea, and we were ringing up places for me to go and interview people, and we would buy them gifts, and we'd do all sorts of crazy things. We went up in a microlight on one, we hired a canal on another, and I wanted it to be that, where is the Vobes today? Where is he gone? A bit like what I'm doing with the walks, only I wanted it much more dramatic. You see, I wanted people to be urgently wanting to watch the thing. Anyway, one of the things that we set up is a barber shop choir. Right? Yeah. Now, I can't sing a note. You may have noticed that. I can't sing a note. But, note the note. See? I got that in. Anyway, so they're in Worthing. I don't know if these guys are still around, whether they're still alive. But there was this sort of barbershop choir of lovely, lovely people. And they permitted me to come in, and we did a bit of an interview with them. And then they said, oh, well, you've got to get up and join in and do a bit of singing. And I thought, oh no, this is embarrassing, because I can't sing, you see, like so many of us. Although Nick Tan, the music man, he reckons everybody can sing. So there's hope. I need to get Nick Tan to do some lessons in here with me. La! Oh, sorry, earplugs in. So anyway, off we go, and we go to this place, this village, this hall, somewhere in Worthing now. I can't remember where it was. And the gentleman there, whose name now I have to say I can't remember his name, but he's trying to teach me a few things. It's only a couple of minutes, so I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy this. Get your sick bucket ready. So here they are. That's right. The Worthing Airs. That's right. I forgot what they were called. Here we go. Okay, so just explain what's going to happen.
Well, this is what we call a tag. It's the end part of a song, and because we can't learn the whole song, we don't want to learn all these songs. All we want to do is just sing the tag part of it, which is about the last 3 or 4 bars, and we can learn that while we're sitting there, and it's just a bit of fun. So this is a bit of fun, if you like, but it is the end of a song. But anyway, all you've got to do, what you've got to do now, I'll blow.
I'm getting nervous now.
Can you see this? It's like a circular mouth organ.
Yes.
It's called a pitch pipe.
Oh right, with all the little letters.
Yeah, with the keys on it. You see.
Keys. That's the word.
We're going to sing in the key of C.
Lovely.
Or we're going to start off in C.
I don't know what key I'll be in.
When you can hear that. When. Super.
I'm not a singer.
Well, right, this is it. La, la, do, re, do. That's all you got, 2 notes there. When it's sleepy time down south. Make sure you hold that pitch and you take a breath to start with, otherwise you find you'll run out.
And I just join in when the others...
No, yeah, well, they'll all start with you. Take no notice of them.
I've got to keep up with those guys.
No, they'll keep up with you. Right.
Sure. What's the word?
When it's sleepy time down south.
Right, when it's sleepy time down south.
When all that down right, when it's sleepy time down south.
Rubbish for me. Look at these guys, are fantastic.
Right between you and him, really.
Right.
If you pardon the expression.
Yes. Oh, right, okay.
Musically speaking, vocally speaking, you're da da da. That's what you come, sort of thing.
Okay, I'll try and remember that.
Now I'll just stand behind you. Right.
Thank you.
Very pally as well.
Now this is going to sound a little bit different because you've just got the 4 of you, and the onus is on the individual. Okay.
Right.
So you have got all the work to do. You're the main bod in
Oh
the
no! This is unfair.
I would whisper in your ear if you need.
Yes. When it's what? It's raining?
No.
When it's sleepy?
Sleepy time, yeah.
Sleepy time.
Sleepy time down south.
Thank you. When it's sleepy time down south. That is so confusing because you're hearing all the different ones in your head and you're going, hang on, where am I pitched?
So there we are. Lovely bunch of people, I have to say. Lovely bunch of people, and it was great. And again, it was a shame because podcasting then was in its embryonic days, and it hadn't really got an audience other than other podcasters who were listening to it. And I was pushing the boundaries, pushing the envelope, as they say. But I didn't have a post box to put it in, and so unfortunately, it kind of plateaued out. And it wasn't growing, and the technology wasn't, as good as it is now, and we couldn't do all the stuff that we are doing now and the things that I want to do now and take it further. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you that, and you can see I was in better condition then. I wasn't quite so podged up. So that was before the earlier one that I showed you where I was all podged up. Now, of course, I don't have the eye, but I'm back to being fit, and I'm doing all the exercises, and I'm back to, so, and of course I haven't aged at all, you see. I am that time traveller. I just travel back into, every 10 years, I travel back in time and step into my old body. And it doesn't matter which body, any body will do, but I step into an old body, a young body, and I'm all very good. So there we are, that was that. Now, just before we came on air, ladies and gentlemen, Claire Leach, one of the lovely admin people, the lovely Claire Leach, she said she had a bit of a hangover, and I gather that she must have gone out, on the razzmatazz with all the people, and she said, look, I've got a bit of a hangover, so I'm going to watch a few old television programmes. She's got a box set of Poirot. Now, she knew that I had done a little bit of extra work in Poirot with David Suchet, and she said, can you remember what episodes you're in? I want to see if I can spot the Vobes, you see. And, when you do extra work, of course, they don't really tell you what episode it is. You just know it's whatever programme, the name of the programme, but not necessarily the name of the episode. And most of the time, you don't know what's going on in the episode. You don't even know what's going on in the scene. Mostly, if you're an extra or a walk-on, you're gathered up there really early to wherever the location is, whether it's in the studio or on location at some place. And with Poirot, it was always on location. Sometimes we did one at Shoreham Airport. We did another one. We did a couple of them at Brooklands, at the old racing track there, the car racing track at Brooklands. And all sorts of, nice country 1930s sort of houses. I was always a policeman. I was forever being a policeman. Oh, and apart from one time on Hove Seafront. It was Hove Seafront, and this was ridiculous. This is typical of television back then. Typical of television. They had a conversation going on in a hotel room in Hove, and the camera was in the hotel. Now, I don't know if you know Hove at all, or the Brighton seafront along there. You've got a very long, wide promenade. You've got the main road, which comes along, and then set quite far back are the hotels and the high-rise flats and all of this stuff. And in one of these was the main actor, David Suchet, and whoever else was in the scene. I have no idea because we never saw in it. All we knew was they were having a conversation by the window, and the camera was looking past them, so they were in the foreground, but you could see past them down. You couldn't see the road, so you couldn't see the cars, but you just saw a section of the promenade, and that little bit of space had been closed off from ordinary people. And then there was a bunch of extras who were dressed up in 1920s swimwear. So there was me, dressed in one of those, the sort of skimpy outfits that the strong men wear when they come on and do all that, these sort of little thing with the straps round here and a pert little bottom. Well, that was me with the pert little bottom. You look out for a pert little bottom man. And there were others, ladies with parasols and things, and a couple of kids running around with bouncy balls. But what I didn't tell you, of course, is that they filmed this in the end of November. and it was freezing cold. It was absolutely bitterly cold, but it was supposed to be the height of summer in the episode. So in between, every time they said on the radio, we go, okay, we're just a minute, we're 2 minutes and we'll be going. We're all got coats on like this, freezing our brass monkeys off, and then it would go, okay, stand by with the extras. This message would come, we'd all take the coats off and drop them out of shot, and then we had this, we just sort of gaily pranced, if you can use that term these days, but it was 1930, so you could gaily prance around, like, on the seafront, going, oh, Arthur. You couldn't hear us or anything, but we were just, pretending to be those 1930s holidaymakers in there with their pert bottoms and their skimpy little, what's-the-name outfits. I mean, it's most stupid. And this conversation, whatever it was they were doing back in the blooming room behind us, went on and on and on, and then we would get cut. We're going again. And we would put our coats on and keep ourselves warm and wait. Okay, stand by. Oh, blooming heck! That was classed as acting, ladies and gentlemen. That was acting. We were deep background, slightly blurred, 1930s moving wallpaper from the seaside resort and Hove acting. That's what that was. So did quite a bit of those sort of things. My biggest claim to fame, of course, was being behind frosted glass at the end of the corridor acting. I was that white blur, that white shirt that sort of flitted like this. And go, oh, there he was. Occasionally in the bill, I would say a few lines. Here it is, Sarge. It's over there, Sarge. Yes, Sarge. That sort of thing. It's last of the great thing. Oh, I did a bit of radio work on the thing. Yes, Tango, Oscar, Charlie, Delta. This is the such and such and whatever. You'd sometimes hear my voice on that. And Waiting for God. If anyone's ever seen Waiting for God, I think I had a few lines in that one as an ambulance man. I can't even remember what episode or what scene, or I don't remember anything about it. Did do an EastEnders once, appeared in the Old Vic in one episode. And Lovejoy, worked with Richard Bryars, worked with some of the old stars, they're lovely, some of them lovely. But I did the Alexei Sales stuff thing. I'd like to say Alexei Sale was a nice man. I'd like to say that. I worked with Lenny Henry. I'd like to say he was a nice man. But most of Richard Bryars was absolutely lovely. I loved working with him. I had this tiny little part. He did a series. Do you remember he did Ever Decreasing Circles? And then when that came to an end, he did another series which wasn't really a great success, I don't think. And there was a bit where he was supposed to be an ex-something or other in an attaché or something in somewhere in South Africa somewhere. And they wanted to film a little bit of a flashback when he's coming in from some, I don't know, plantation or field or whatever it was. And they had this nice country house in near Uckfield where they shot this. And he was coming in and they brought in a whole load of fake palm trees and fake bushes and things, and he would come up and then just go through these French doors into the house. So they just had a glimpse really of this supposedly South African scene, and he would come in, they were filming all the rest, pretending it was all over there. And I was dressed up as a South African soldier of some description in this sort of light brown khaki stuff, and all I had to do was stand by the door. That was it. It was just, I was like a sentry. That was all I had to do. And he would just come in past me. I had to do nothing. Anyway, there was a bit of a delay while they were setting something up, and Richard Bryars was sort of waiting to do this walk in, and he was standing right next to me, and we just got chatting. He was very nice. He just started to chat to me and asked me what I was doing and blah, blah, blah. And I said I was trying to be an actor and I was trying to do this. I wanted to make films. And then he was ever so nice, very nice. I had just lovely conversation with him. And then when it came towards the bit, he said to the director, he said, this chap here, Richard, he said, couldn't he open the door for me and nod at me or something? He said, rather than just stand there. I think he felt sorry for. He gave me something to do. He just gave me. It was just something. It was so generous, because he needn't have. He could have just swanned in there and done his bit. So as it happened, I did. There's a bit where I can't remember exactly now because it was ages ago. But it was so nice. It was so nice. So he comes up the path, up these steps with all these sort of fake trees, and then I'm there and I sort of nod to him, and I opened the door. I mean, it was nothing, you know, it was nothing, hardly any acting skill, but it gave me something to do. It was so nice. It was lovely. Very nice man, I have to say. But the extra work never led to anything, of course. And here am I, still struggling to gain a foothold, get that first rung on the ladder as the career is slipping slowly into the mire. But hey ho. Now I wanted to tell you, ladies. So anyway, that was in answer to Claire Leach's little question about Poirot. I'm going to play you something else now, ladies and gentlemen. But this isn't old archive of me. Thank goodness, you'll be pleased to say. Today on the Bald Explorer show, unless you were a patron and you had it before, we had a look at the Regency Townhouse in Brunswick Square in Hove, and people have been, you know, impressed with that, and they enjoyed it very much. And Paul Couchman has been, I noticed on Facebook and on YouTube, has been answering questions and stuff, and I, stupidly as I am very often, I forgot to put his website on there so people could check it out. I've put that on now, I think, on both channels. I'm not quite sure if I've got it on the Facebook page now I think of it, but it's on the YouTube one. Anyway, there is a second part. Now, initially, I didn't think I had a huge amount left, so I was just going to sort of palm that on the patrons. But I was editing it up today, and there's a considerable second part, and I thought, well, it's a bit unfair to hide it from everyone, and I appreciate the patrons have put some money in and they want some extras. But also, I think it was a bit unfair to Paul, who took me round, Paul Couchman, and the volunteers to hold it back. So I will be putting all of it out. It's another sort of 10-minute walk round with the rest of the stuff that we did. That'll go out on Monday, on Bank Holiday Monday. So look out for that. But I want to play to you just a snippet from that to whet your appetite, because it was good, and Paul was fantastic. He was so enthusiastic. It really was. It's so nice when you get people like that who just fling open the doors and just say, yeah, no, come in. And he knew his stuff. So here's a nice little, where is it? I've lost it now. Here we go. Here's a nice little bit where we go out into the courtyard at the back of the house, and there's something in the courtyard that Paul doesn't show everybody, and he hadn't done it for a while, and he said, no, come on, I'll show you. So have a little look at this and see what you think.
For a long time there was no skylight in that kitchen. There was a great big sheet of plastic, blue plastic. And eventually a skylight did come in. And that just getting that room back together again is, and actually functioning as a kitchen again. I mean, I like the way it's come full circle. For something, I remember when I first saw the kitchen, I thought it's never going to be finished. But eventually it does. Just slow progression. Every week another change is happening.
We are standing on another interesting thing just below my feet. A well.
Oh, I think we can have a look at this, actually. Right, so this is... be a bit careful. There you go.
The little centipede there. This is a well.
There you go.
That goes down... How far did you say that goes down?
Well, we think about 18 metres. I can see it really clearly today, actually, because of the it's a bit overcast, yeah. Do you see all the brick?
Yeah, wow.
It's absolutely fantastic. And you can see the water at the bottom, of course.
Yes, I saw the water. Is that drinking water?
Nick does say yeah, I mean, we were thinking about making our own beer at one point.
From that?
From the water. But it would have to be cleaned. I mean, they used to clean it by throwing in lime. Every year they'd throw a bag of lime in.
Gosh.
This is why it's open, because the water was pumped. So the well worked by a pump system.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't actually open it.
No. Oh, I see.
Just that once a year where you throw your bag of lime in.
Bag of lime in. Bloody hell.
They'd not use the water for a day or so, and then they'd use it again.
Gosh.
That's just to clean all the bacteria.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
Probably not something we do now.
No.
It's great though, isn't it?
Health and safety might not approve of that.
There we go. Just a little snippet there to whet your appetite. He's such a lovely bloke, Paul. Such a nice, enthusiastic chap, and so knowledgeable, as I said. So what I really, really want to do is to get more of that sort of thing, where I can go to places and have exclusive interviews with people who know their stuff. I mean, I still have to do the walks over the downs and bits and pieces, which I hope people do enjoy. Sometimes I feel that I'm just it's sort of nothing very exciting. But I am aware that some people can't get out, and even just a walk over the downs is fairly pleasant. But, you know, it's like life. You know, you have good ones, high points, as long as there's no really, really dull, boring ones or badly made or something. So anyway, and as you saw in there, I'd actually, at the beginning of that, I had a nice little interview with him, which I set up my other camera, and we lit it right. And so part 2 of the Brunswick Square, the second half, as it were, will go up Monday, and hopefully you'll enjoy that. There's a few more extra bits in there, but I hope that's whetted your appetite, and I hope you don't mind, patrons don't mind that I put that out. We will be making some extra stuff for the patrons, because I just think that's fair. But I'm, trying to please everybody all at the same time, and it's very hard, as you'll appreciate. And this thing is growing, but if I can build up my reputation, I've probably got a reputation, but maybe that's not the reputation I want. Stop it. So, but if I can and get into more places and bring you, some more exclusive stuff, I think that will be really nice. So, if anybody knows anybody and can introduce me or get me in, I'm very, very open to ideas and all of that sort of nonsense. So that's quite exciting. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's just have a look at the time and see where we are. We're 1:45. It's Good Friday. I'm sure you've got plenty of things to be doing. Dan Thompson says, "Oi, Vobes." Hello, Dan. Very nice to see you. My stream buffering. So sorry, Mark. Jürgen has arrived. Thank you very much. Nikki Jess says, "Wow. Love the green moss." What, on my jacket? No, you mean down in the cellar. We've got exploding. What do you call them? Emojis. We've got loving emojis. Thank you very much. There we go. Jane says, sounds and looks interesting. Steve Travers says, I can get out but still love the walks. Oh, well, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. It's very nice, because sometimes you do feel that some are not as exciting as others, but one does one's best. So there we go. I've got one other little play in, as it were, before I disappear. Trying to fill up the show with a bit of the archive stuff, so you kind of can see where I've come from and the lunacy that I've done before. Oh, hang on, here we go. I think, says Claire Leach, that one of the Poirot episodes that Richard was in, it was called 4 and 20 Blackbirds, 1989. Yeah, that's about the right period, about the right time. That's quite interesting, actually. I have to look that up. So, one of the things that... one of the mad things that I've done... I mean, my life is not a normal life. And I think we've all gathered that. I think we all agree with that. And people don't often realise just quite how bonkers I am. So I was running the Vobes show, doing a thing, had the beach hut. Well, it was actually in a hut. It was in a hut, but it wasn't down on the beach as much as I would love the show to have been on the beach hut. But it was in a shed in the back garden, and I started to do these videos, and I wanted to, again, this was before really YouTube had really taken off and was the place to do things, and I wasn't quite sure what the content was going to be or how to do it, because video is much harder work than audio. It really is. Audio is fantastic because the pictures are in people's minds and the pictures are better. They're so much better when it's radio or audio than it is when it's video. And if you can't, if you were mucking about with just very simple stuff, it's very, very tricky. Anyway, so I had my partner, my wife at the time had left, taken the kids, and I was living on my own at this point. I was living on my own in the house, and now this is why no woman could actually live with me, and I think Harriet has come to the conclusion that there's no way that we can stay together, as in live together, because I'm a bit bonkers, you see. So I've got a 2 up, 2 down house, a very humble terrace house. That's where I live. I love it. I do love my house. It's fantastic. It's a bit small, for what I need, but it serves its purpose. Anyway, so I'm living on my own, and the reason that no woman would put up with me, the reason that no woman would put up with me is because one day I was thinking, these videos, I need to house it in something. Where it was in the shed was not big enough to get a camera in and do things. So I figured I needed to build the interior of the supposed beach hut, effectively a studio. So I emptied my front room, which didn't have a lot in it. I took out the sofa and the telly and everything, stashed it all away, and then I built the interior of a beach hut. And I was putting out these little updates, as I used to do, and occasionally still do on the Bolt Explorer, putting up an update on how it was. So I thought I'd play you in an update of this beach hut building situation, so you could just get an idea. So if you were thinking, oh, he's a nice man, he's a catch, I'll have him, you might end up with a peculiar set in your front room for weeks on end. So anyway, have a look at this, see what you think. Oh no, not that one. Sorry, not that one. No, we've seen Paul. That was Paul. There he is. Look, that's Paul. That's not the beach hut. Hang on a minute. Here we go. Which one is it? I think it's that one. This is live, ladies and gentlemen. Live. Here we go. Interior beach hut scene. Take one and take two, rather. Action. Hello, welcome to a little update, Vobes update here from the beach hut. Not the beach hut where I have the studio in, but a beach hut set, a replica set, ladies and gentlemen. It's night time, it's a bit dark, and we haven't really got much in the way of light. We've just got a little light over there and a bit of moonlight coming through the window until we get another wall in. Been very busy, but you can see it is actually quite a large set with a kind of a window. So this is the new part of the new venture that Vobes is getting up to. This set is actually in my front room. It's Mr. Pegram is the one I should thank, really, because he has been working tirelessly with hammer and nail, banging and hammering, and I've just been in his footsteps. The thing about it is it's not ready. It's not ready at all. We've got to paint it, we've got to make it look nice and sexy. It's got to look like the inside of the real beach hut. The real one's got all the studio and everything in. This is one where I'm going to be performing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. As you can see, I've still got bits and pieces, drill, hammers, nails, all this kind of stuff. It's in flux. So I hope you're going to keep an eye out on us as we carry on producing and making the set and the program and get the script writing done and all that kind of stuff. So keep coming back, keep checking the old websites, and keep following Vobes on Twitter at Vobes. That's right, it's at Vobes, isn't it, on Twitter? I always forget. And eventually we'll get a few lights in here and we'll be able to sort of brighten the place up. But until then, cheers! So, yes, and we did manage to deck it out. We got it all decked out. We had props in there. It was painted on the inside. I'll have to put up a picture at some point. I should have got a screenshot from another episode when we actually had it working. And I've got this what's called a jib arm, so you can. Oh, a virus threat and protection summary. Oh, thanks, Windows Defender. It's just pinged up. So I had this jib arm, so you could put the camera on this arm on the tripod, and so you could then bring the camera around like this. Imagine that's the camera there. You could bring it round, and you could bring it down, and I don't know what I'm doing with this arm. So you could float it around. So we managed to squeeze all that. My front room is not very big, and yet there was no room. There was no room for anything after that. You could barely get in the room because actually the door, in order to build the set, because I had two ends of this shed, and so that was the window end, and at the other end I had a fake door in the panel to look like that was the front door. You never actually saw it open because there was a wall behind it. But it gave the illusion, and I would say, well, cheerio, and I'd go and head towards the door, but you'd never actually see it open. in the old studio, and it, you know, it was great. And then eventually it didn't work out. Like most of my projects, it sort of just didn't happen. People weren't interested. I couldn't find an audience, and it was so much hard work, and you know, for whatever reason. So I had to dismantle this thing because I'd built the shed, the interior of the shed inside the room. Well, I couldn't get out the door. I couldn't get any of the panels out the door, so I had to saw it all down, and it was a bit of a shame. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you, ladies and gentlemen. I've been trying. I have been very trying, as people will tell you, to try and get the thing off the ground. But anyway, we're here now, ladies and gentlemen, so that's the main thing. However, the time is ticking on. We've been on far too long. I probably bored you witless, as ever. So, who's that? Steve Travers says, I'm sure Harriet would love a shed in her house. Is Harriet still there? Are you still there, Harriet, or have you got better things to do than watch me? I'm sure she's gone now. She's probably just poked in fleetingly. I don't think that she would tolerate any of that. She barely tolerates me doing the show for an evening. I don't want to be, I'm not saying anything mean, but she does like a nice tidy house, whereas I am a bit of an idiot, really. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, when you hear that music, you know you're rid of me. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope you have a wonderful Easter. Don't eat too much chocolate and save some for me. It's been great. Thank you for coming along, and I hope that the lovely Julia does get better. And David is there saying, watch out for snakes, watch out for snakes, you're not in Arizona. No, looking forward to your video, which will be absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much, one and all. You've all been stars. And one day, we will be live out of this studio where I haven't had to build anything. So take care, one and all. Thank you so much. Have a nice Easter. We'll be back on Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, in the UK, hopefully with the lovely Julia, and lots of exciting things. Until then, I won't be on doing shows tomorrow. I won't do a show tomorrow. I won't do a show Sunday. I'll be back on Monday. Hope you'll survive. Until then, thanks for watching, and take care, one and all. I haven't got the screen ready, sorry. I haven't got the end caption. Wait, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to say goodbye. Where's the vision mixer? Ed Keeley, where are you when you want him? Anyway, it's time to go, ladies and gentlemen. Take care, thank you so much. Been lovely, and bye for now.